Oi! Headhunter! What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Headhunter Hideout. Super excited today. I've got Chris Sopik in the house. If you do not know Chris, it's because you have not been hanging out on TikTok. He is he's a vet in the game when it comes to recruitment, been in the recruitment industry a long time, serves the construction industry, and super excited to have him on the show. Yeah. Why don't you go ahead, give yourself a little introduction. I'd love to hear a little bit about your background, how you got started in recruitment, and then we can get into the topic for today, which is just social media and how you're using TikTok to help with your recruitment practice. So yeah, go for it, man. I'd love to hear more about you.
Nice. Okay. So been a recruiter since 2008. Was my first job. Started like the first day of the 2008 recession when like Lehman Brothers went under. So it was a pretty rough start. I think I started with like 4 or 5 other recruiters. I worked at Adecco, which is like, obviously, if you know recruiting, one of the biggest recruitment agencies in the world, maybe the biggest.
Yep.
So slugged it out there for a bit, then sort of realized that construction was sort of taking off. Eventually went on my own, working from my condo, and then slowly grew my own search, and then partnered up with Ryan, my business partner, co-founder with Build. He was sort of running a similar recruitment construction shop. So we merged forces, and now we're the biggest construction recruitment agency in Canada for sure. That just focuses on the niche of construction, real estate development, and construction real estate's like a huge industry here in Canada. It just like dominates the economy.
Awesome, man. I love that. And so when you were at Adecco, I mean, you were there for a couple of years. What was what industry did they have you focused on?
It's funny. Like they're like, pick whatever industry you want, and I thought like marketing and advertising was cool, or like had like a cool sound to it. And within like a month of like cold calling, they were like, listen, kid, like everyone in this industry knows each other. It's so small and so niche that I was getting like no traction. And it was also like obviously a recession. So I was just like taking whatever I could get. I was doing like travel agents like randomly. This was like almost before LinkedIn. Like I was on LinkedIn, but it wasn't really a thing. It was like really old school recruiting, like newspapers and yellow pages and that kind of thing. But I had an awesome boss. She was really trained me to cold call, etc. But yeah. So sort of one day I was just outside walking downtown. It was like right downtown Toronto, the office, and started seeing all these cranes go up. And I was like, oh, maybe construction would be a good industry. And then like since then, that's all I've done. Really.
I love that. Maybe it'll be a good industry.
Yeah, lucky, super lucky.
No, I love it, and I'm curious too. Like just in the time that you started, obviously, difficult time to get started. How would you compare that time to, potentially kind of how COVID has been? Like, do you see any kind of similarities in the time of 2008 to now, or you think there's huge differences? Like what's your feeling
really
on that?
Different. Like in 2008, the economy was way worse in my opinion. I guess I was really dealing with construction, but it just seemed like nothing was happening. And even like the little bit of construction that we first started getting into, it was like hard to get financing for projects and that sort of thing. So that was really putting a stall to a lot of projects, and like no banks were hiring, like all the typical recruitment stuff. So this COVID, like the first 2 months, like March, April, May, even last year, like it was definitely rough because people didn't know if the world was ending or what was going to happen. So that was rough. But then once I realized that everything was going to be okay eventually, like in construction for sure in Ontario, it's been like all systems go. Like last month, we had the best month of our career company wise. So we had
awesome.
Like 35 deals, I think, something crazy like that.
Crazy, man. So you folks into mainly in the US, or it's just all in Canada?
Like our main area is Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto's the biggest construction market in the world. Like I think it has like a third of all the cranes in North America in Toronto. I think that like it has twice as many as Seattle, which is number 2. Pretty sure, anyways. So it's just like it's such a big growing city, Toronto, and there's already limited housing supply, and like immigration is really big here in Canada, and everyone comes to Toronto. So housing prices are like through the roof here. So it's just one of those things. It's like with construction, when you build residential, you got to build roads and you got to build schools, and all that stuff comes with it. So again, pretty lucky, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did, I worked in construction recruitment for about 3 years.
Oh, nice.
And I think one of the things that I find really, really interesting, even with the content you put out, is one of the quote unquote excuses that people would use would be like, hey, construction, no one on the construction industry is on LinkedIn, or no one in the construction industry really uses the platform. So I'm super curious just to hear kind of how you started out with the videos that you're doing. And I'd love to get into like how you've been using, essentially you've been making TikTok videos, and you've kind of, I know when we last talked, you were doing like the Espresso series where you were doing like Espresso reviews, or,
Yeah.
which I think is super smart, but just like walking me through kind of how that happened and why you've continued just being so consistent with those videos, and what some of those outcomes have been for you.
Yeah, I think like I've been on the platform LinkedIn since 2008, like before it was really a thing, and there was no one was really creating content. And then like randomly, like once or twice a year, like I'd post an article, or I would like even like post a meme, like maybe in like 2016 or 2017, like saying how bad traffic was in the city, and like if you want a job closer to home, like call me. And like because there was such little content, like that would get like 10,000 views or 20,000 views. Like, holy crap, like you should do this more. And then I was sitting around like around Christmas time in 2018, and like talking to some of the recruiters that worked with me, and I was like, oh, we should, like, someone's got to do videos. And so I'm like, screw it, like I'm just gonna like bite the bullet and do it. And then I did some like stupid video just saying like thanks for a great year in recruiting, and it got like a bunch of views. And then
I think is the audio out?
one second, sorry. Is that better?
Now
Someone
I
called
can't.
me. Someone called me.
Oh, you're doing it on phone? Okay, yeah, I can actually see the video now.
Oh, hold on. I just hit the cam thing. Okay, yeah, I'm back. You see me?
Yep. See you in here.
So yeah, so it was just like doing videos and getting good responses from candidates and getting lots of views, and I was getting all these like candidates sending me their resumes. Like I was also like hustling hard, DMing and that sort of thing, recruiting. But I was getting lots of passive candidates, or candidates that I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't DM, like send me their resume. So I was like, oh man, like this is really good. So I tried to get my recruiters to do it as well. And then like the views kind of slowed down because people were just getting bored, and I felt like I was repeating myself quite a bit.
So what did those first videos look like, or like what was the premise of those videos?
It was like the construction market's really hot right now. Like if you're looking for a new opportunity, I got tons like in the downtown core. If you want to like work outside the city, give me a shout. We got all these opportunities. Basically stuff like that. And I did some type of videos about like what to expect in an offer, like sort of like expertise type recruiting type videos as well, like how many weeks vacation you should ask for, stuff like that. But then I was sort of finding it hard to find like topics for videos and that sort of thing. And I was like, with the Espresso reviews anyways, I was like trying to get one of my recruiters to do it, because I'm like, oh, it's such a good idea. Like if you can do content that doesn't like is not really about recruiting, but it's entertaining, like you'll get the better value out of it. You know, people will actually want to watch it instead of like hearing about the same thing over and over again. So I would keep doing them, but schools are shut down here in Toronto, and my wife's my camera woman, so so all my kids are at home. It's brutal. But yeah, so I was like, well, it's better to do something that's entertaining instead of just the boring, like, I'm looking for a site super, like, give me a shout. Because people already know that you're recruiting. So I thought some good value there anyways.
So I'm curious in terms of the response you get. I mean, you mentioned, you're getting some candidates reach out to you. I mean, when you talk to people, are you actively recruiting yourself as well? Do you run a
No,
desk?
like I stopped recruiting like a year ago.
Okay.
Just that was like a conflict of interest. I gave all my clients away to the recruiters here.
Yep.
So yeah, like now I just do it for sort of like brand recognition, or like it helps the recruiters, like if they're recruiting, DMing, like I'm trying to always try to encourage them to do content as well. So like just trying to lead by example, I guess. Be a good way to put it.
What's the challenge with getting the team on board with recruiting content as well?
It's people are really afraid to put themselves out there. They really care what other people think, and like they don't see the value, and they tried to put out like one or two pieces of content and like it didn't work for them. So they're like, "What's the point?" sort of thing. But like the recruiters that do, like I have a lot of recruiters that do lots of content, and they're the most successful ones. So, and I say that to my recruiters, but again, it's like very hard for hill to climb for a lot of them, because it is like, you're putting yourself out there. Like you might look stupid sometimes. Like I put out lots of stupid videos, but I don't care, right? As long as once you don't care, like what other people think, then it becomes way easier.
Do you think that posting content in the way that you have, or the way that you do, do you think that it ever hurts you in the marketplace, in terms of, you think people ever see your videos and are just like, yeah, I don't want to work with Chris?
Maybe, like, depends, like not about like if like I have like posted controversial things before, or like things that like are maybe a little divisive, so sure, but I try to stay away from that stuff as much as I can. Most of my stuff is like I just try to keep it like upbeat and like entertaining. So probably I've definitely gained way more than I've lost. Like we might have lost like a small percentage, but like we gain a lot, because I post a lot of like stuff on our company page as well. Like we're one of the only companies that I've seen that like consistently posting like social media type, like Instagram or TikTok type videos on LinkedIn. And we went from like 1,000 to like almost 11,000 followers in the last year. So some of those videos are a little bit crazy for LinkedIn as well, but
so it looks like you're sharing then like TikTok videos as part of the
like
company.
TikTok videos that are like related to construction, or related to working, or like just like funny sometimes, so again, like maybe we've lost few, but like the people that we lose generally are like difficult to work with anyways, so it's not that big of a loss in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this one you did about a month ago that says, "When the apprentice is always on the phone," and that post got 33,000 views on it. I'm curious. Do you get then direct leads from the company page as well?
Yeah, like the company page is great because you can see like who it gives you lots of stats, like so much stats, like who's looking at it, who followed you, like how your posts are doing, like comparatively. Like they used to do really well. Like we definitely haven't gone in the same trajectory as in followers for some reason. I'm not quite sure, but like it's definitely been good for us. We've definitely made lots of deals off of the company page just through like people seeing it. Like it's sort of like organic, like we're not selling anything, but it's like if you're gonna get a DM from one of the recruiters and you're on LinkedIn and you see the company page video, and then like hopefully the recruiter posted something as well, and like you see my stupid video and like Ryan posts something, You know,
Yep.
it's like you're beating them or hammering them over the head all day long with content. So it's working. Some people might find it annoying, but
No, I mean, I love it. And I think, you know, one of the biggest things that I think people kind of forget is one thing that you mentioned earlier, which was, you know, how do you post content that's not recruiting related, that's entertaining, that's engaging for people as well. And, you know, I mean, obviously you've got to come back to recruitment at times, and you don't want to necessarily just lose the fact that you're in recruiting, but I think knowing your market as well and knowing the type of people that you're dealing with, for example, is huge. So where did like the espresso reviews? I'm curious to hear like how did you come up with that, and like what was why were you like, oh man, that people are gonna get into this and like people are gonna like this? Like where did that come from?
well, like I like was always watching the pizza reviews, like the Dave Portnoy pizza reviews, and I was like, oh, this is so funny. Like, and I always wanted to see what the score was and how the pizza looked. And so I was like, so I was like, this is a great idea. But I didn't really have a problem creating content. So I was like, to one of my recruiters, I was like, you should do espresso reviews. There's like all these cafes and Italian bakeries all across like Toronto. Like there's endless amounts. Like there's still, I've probably done 100. There's still like another 200. And pushed and do it. I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna do it myself. And then it just sort of took off. Like some of them get, like, I've had a few that have gotten like 10,000 views. So yeah, it's just one of those things that like it's a little bit different on LinkedIn. Like I'm obviously not afraid to put myself out there, afraid to like look stupid sometimes. So yeah, I think some are really good, some are really bad, whatever. Like, you know, just like get it done. And like people in construction love espresso. Like, you know, they gotta have their caffeine up at 5 a.m. So I got like a lot of people like are always like tell me, like DM me, telling me they love the espresso reviews, or like go here, go there, yada yada. So it's fun, whatever.
Well, and I think what's really interesting is you know, again, you're like, okay, you know, people in the construction industry, they love it, and those are the people you're trying to reach, and I think so often, you know, really quickly, especially in marketing and particularly in B2B marketing, there's so much of a focus on having like a call to action or having you know, tying it somehow into like the product and service that you offer. And I think one of the challenges with recruiting is, number one, there's so much competition out there. So I don't really care what anyone says. You know, I know from being in recruitment long enough that all of the prospects that you're working with, all your candidates that you're working with, all the clients you're working with are more than likely getting reached out to by recruiters multiple times a week. So we know this. And so then, you know, it's like, okay, well, you could then just post on LinkedIn and talk about how great of a recruiter you are or why you should work with a recruiter, but that's all been done. So I love the fact that you just took something completely, you know, just nothing to do with the recruit. You're not talking about how great your placement was this week. Now walk me through, like, when you get DMs from people and let's say they're responding well, like, do you have like a system in place where you're then, okay, hey, this is like a top of funnel lead, now I'm going to work this? Or like, how did you start to work in those like inbound leads? Because to me, that's inbound leads. Like if someone's reaching out to you, you know, then you've got an opportunity to start a conversation. So how did you start working that into your overall business strategy, if that makes sense?
Well, like I would always, like, if I'm doing an espresso review, I'd always like do like a post earlier in the week saying like, I'm looking for all these sort of positions, like your standard recruitment post, like would try to make it maybe a little bit more interesting. And then like they are generally saying like, oh, hey Chris, like I'm looking, you know, for an opportunity. And then I just, you know, when I was recruiting, I would say, you know, like work the checklist, like where you live in the city, like what sort of construction do you focus on, yada yada, give them the options of the clients, and then, you know, help them along the way. You know, the real good thing about content, in my opinion, is for recruiting, especially if you can do something like espresso reviews or something that shows your personality, is like you build like such great rapport with candidates before you even meet them. Like they're talking to you and they're like, oh, Chris, like if you're connected to them, they see your posts all the time and see your personality. So they're like,
yeah, you're probably kind of like somewhat of like a celebrity almost.
In a way. So it really makes talking to them easier. You know, especially during like COVID, like it's way less meetings and that sort of thing where you can build rapport with candidates. So like if you're always out there, you know, pushing your face, like as I say to my recruiters, like even if you're just posting a video about the jobs you're recruiting for, like it really helps you build rapport with the people that you're recruiting. So like even if it's super boring and gets like 500 views, like it's still better than not doing it, you know? So yeah.
So when you look at, I mean, obviously you believe in producing content. I mean, can you see like a clear uptick from when you started to where you are now? Or like, was there a time point where you were like, okay, I'm sold on this 100%? Or was it right from the get-go? You just knew, you know,
yeah, like right when I first started doing content, no one was doing content at all. Like I was the first one doing videos, really. One of the first.
So you must have got like 500,000 million views.
So like the first like 6 months, I was just getting like an insane amount of inbound resumes. Like it was amazing. Like I was just crushing it recruiting wise. So it was just like it was the amount of money I could have like plotted it out on a spreadsheet or whatever that I made off of like doing videos and people sending me their resumes, but it was a lot, like a significant amount of deals. And then sort of they all just sort of became those sort of deals because those are the ones that you're working on because they came inbound. And like the same thing helps with clients. Like clients are on on their LinkedIn, and like especially your good clients that know you, if they see you, then like they'll just reach out to you, be like, oh, like do you have any PMs for me, et cetera, et cetera. So it works both ways for sure.
Now, I hear the argument a lot, and I mean, I was in the construction industry, you know, where people would be like, "Oh, people aren't on LinkedIn." Do you find that like most people are, even if they're not engaging with your content, or like what? How do you find that works out?
Well, like we do a lot of project managers and estimators, and also like executive type of staff. So they're on LinkedIn. They're sitting there like on LinkedIn quite a bit. And then site supers and that sort of thing, site coordinators, like because that's about the level that we go to. They don't see it as much for sure, but they might. They'll go on LinkedIn. Like if they're responding to the DM, they have to be on LinkedIn, so they're going to most likely see the content. But they're not on it all day, like a project manager would be.
Do you find that a lot of people reach out to you, or a lot of people know about your videos, but they're people that have just never liked or commented on your posts as well?
Yeah. Like also when you're a recruiter, you got to take with a grain of salt that like the likes and comments, because people don't necessarily want to be like their boss seeing that they're like liking your post about a job description or like liking your post about having a job, because then they'll think that they're trying to like leave the role or whatever, you know? So like so many people will be like, oh, I love your espresso reviews or whatever, but you'd never ever see them like or comment. Like you would never know that they love them. But yeah, like again, like I don't know, I've had some espresso reviews that got like 400 views, and I've had some that got like 8,000. So it's just like whatever, you know?
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I think my favorite thing is the fact that you're not like I don't know, you're just kind of putting yourself out there, and whatever happens with it.
Yeah, like I'm lucky, like I own the company, like Ryan and I own the company, and so like we can really push the boundaries of content. Whereas like if you work for any like agency or big or small and you're not the owner, like you might feel handcuffed about what you could do. Like here at Build, you know, everyone has the freedom to sort of post whatever they want as long as it's not hateful. So like not like, you know, Julie, one of our best recruiters, she does like wine reviews and she does lots of content. She's extremely successful. Like Jordan, he does lots of construction related content, expertise type stuff. He's like extremely successful. Like one of our new recruiters, Matt, like ever since he just sort of went into like you know, like ripping stuff off the internet and making it related to construction or work. And he had his best month last month. He did like 6-7 deals, you know? So, So yeah, there's lots of ways to do it.
Are you training people in house then on how to do content? Or like how do you kind of take what you've learned and what you've done and apply that to everybody? Like how do you guys do that internally?
Yeah, like we're always pushing like content. Do your content, like do your content, do your DMs, like respond, yada yada, and it's like not like no one has to do anything. They don't have to do content if they don't want to, but you know, like every example, like anytime I can make an example of like see what happens, like when you do content, like one of our recruiters, Jen, last year did some just like a nice little like write up about like an original story she had with a candidate, and it got like, you know, like 1 million views, like literally 1 million views, you know, like in like 5,000 likes, something crazy like that. So she definitely closed a bunch of deals off of that. So I mean, you just try to ask them to do it, tell them to do it, do the content yourself, and then hopefully enough people do it. But like we got 30 or 35 recruiters, so there's enough content going on.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. What about are you tracking any of the metrics? Are you tracking call time or like how?
No, none of that. No, we just very entrepreneurial, sort of free agency with that kind of stuff.
I love it, man. And you're having your best. Is 2021 the best year you've had then? One
Yeah,
of
like
them.
it'll be the best year for sure. Look, we just had an amazing month. We had a great start to the year, and there's no stopping construction in this city.
Yeah.
And
No, I
too.
love it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that story, even just about your recruiter that posted and got 1 million views. I mean, when I look at that, I go, yeah, it's just views. Like views don't automatically turn into dollars. You still got to produce and you got to execute in the real world. But do you ever just sit back and think, wow, that 1 million views? I mean, a lot of that would have tied directly to the brand. So I think. Do you have you tracked like total amount of views like for your firm in terms of like
No,
individual recruiters
I
or
think
any idea of where that would be, that number?
I think you could get it off of definitely the like company page probably has a good idea. I spent a lot like a lot of views by everyone. I don't know, like Julie gets like crazy views. Like she does so well. If like you looked at her LinkedIn site, you could see her views. She like probably averages like 10,000. Like crushes me, that's for sure. But yeah, like I don't know, millions for sure, millions. So yeah, it's been great. Like it's definitely helped us take over. It's the reason we're the #1 construction recruitment agency in Canada, is because like we just dominate content, and it's the truth. Like that's the reason why we're winning. So
yeah, I love that. And do you have a marketing background yourself, or
no,
this is just
no,
no?
just like I'm like to think of myself as creative and funny, I guess. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. So so like what's next for you with the content? Like where does this go, or like where would you like to see your own content kind of develop from now, or like are you just kind of, I guess, freestyling it as you go, or do you have visions for like a podcast or anything like that?
Not podcast, because I just feel like I could get like 5,000 views off like a 10-second TikTok, and then like the thing I like about TikTok is like you get to use other people's music. So like it really, like I'm a big music guy. So like a 10-second song gets stuck in your head. So like if my stupid TikTok video gets stuck in your head because of the music, not because of the like what I'm doing or the company, and it like stays in your head and one of the recruiters DMs you, it's like, pretty great. So probably lots of TikToks, and then lots of golf content. Hopefully when COVID is over more, and like traveling, doing cool things, that sort of thing, type content, more espresso reviews when the kids go back to school.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. What about the firm as a whole? How are you guys actively growing this year? You're hiring? Like what's that look like this year?
Yeah, what I think, really doing a big push out in BC right now. We had a really good month out in BC last month. We'll have 2 or 3 new recruiters. Like one of our new recruiters, Kyle, came from the restaurant industry. Like he owned a restaurant, and then because of COVID, obviously that was no longer working out. So we trained him, and he's like crushing it in BC. He's actually turned into an amazing recruiter. So we got 2 or 3 recruiters out in BC, really trying to grow that. In Toronto, we're just like super busy. Like I don't even know how many open orders we have. And then we do a bunch of stuff in the US, maybe like try to get a few deals done a month, but we're still sort of strategically trying to figure out how to do that. I think maybe take the rest of this year on BC.
Probably just more TikTok videos.
Yeah, like that helps. That's definitely going to help. Like this will help.
Yeah.
Like we would hire like experienced recruiters out in the US for certain markets. But right now, I think we're just going to try to hire like more people who may be new to recruiting and just train them in our certain way. That's really seemed to work.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Well, let's look to wrap things up here. I know you're super busy. You're running a firm. How many? You say you got 35 recruiters that are on board right now.
Yep.
Looks like that's gonna be growing. So I'd love, like, for, if you were to break it down right now for somebody that's an agency owner that's potentially thinking about the LinkedIn game, what's some advice that you would have for them with content in general, with LinkedIn, and like just getting creative? Like what would be the biggest piece of advice you'd have for someone in that boat?
I would say like start small, like just like if you ever posted anything, like post an article or like post a job, get comfortable with like the process of it, and then like take it from there. I mean, like, like maybe post a video about a job you're recruiting for, and then like slowly get into, maybe something that's just entertaining, that's not even selling anything, like the Espresso review, like, or go for it right away. But like definitely like not doing content, you're just leaving like so much opportunity on the table. Because like people like me are just going to come up and take up all the airspace. And that's sort of what's really happening here. So for the agency owners, I would say just like try to lead by example. Like if you do it, then like your recruiters will probably feel more comfortable doing it, and then like try to make it as organic as possible, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. Simple, actionable advice. Well, Chris, man, I appreciate it. And just for everyone who's out there as well, if you don't follow Chris, we'll tag him in this post as well afterwards, so you can go and follow and connect with Chris. I would do it just in terms of just trying to get inside the mind of a creative. And I love the way that you describe yourself, where you're just like, hey, I'm trying to be funny, I'm trying to be real, I'm trying to educate people and really bring value. And I think the biggest lesson here is, sometimes we think we know what our audience wants, but really the best way to figure that out is to just really know your audience well and know the types of things that they're going to spend time on. So if you find yourself talking to whatever construction project managers, and they're always talking about like where they went for lunch or what they, their favorite places to hang out, maybe that's some great content, but you don't know unless you try it. So definitely follow Chris here. And then what about on TikTok? You trying to build up the TikTok following as well?
Yeah, I've got TikTok is Build Recruitment. Like most of our stuff gets posted on there. Like I just use TikTok is like so good for editing. Like haven't really had one video blow up on TikTok actually, but it was just like a golf one. So, but yeah, TikTok.
How many followers you got on TikTok?
No, like nothing. Like maybe like 200.
but that's, you don't need a lot on TikTok to blow up though. The algorithm is crazy.
I had one video that had like 150,000 views, which would like more than I've ever had on LinkedIn. But I just really use it for LinkedIn, so I don't really care about the views on TikTok, because like it's so hard to like figure out how that would make me money. But I like it for the videos. You can just easily transfer them over to LinkedIn. Like, you see it goes right to your phone, right? So
yep. Well, and I've been doing the TikTok as well, like doing some of those videos. They're easy to edit. You can use the music, which is good. You can add in text. I mean, how long did it take you to figure out how to kind of edit on there?
Not long at all. Yeah, like that's what I like about TikTok is like you can get your point across without talking, you know. So it's like so there's some people who are like really afraid to talk, and like I've sounded like an idiot a million times in my videos, and sometimes like take a million takes, but on TikTok you just like you can flash text up and have music and like pictures or videos of whatever you want. It's actually really simple to use. So
100%.
Yeah.
Look, I would say too, you know, if you're thinking about TikTok in general as a platform, I mean, number one, just figure out like are my target audience there if you're going to use that as a platform to use. But I've seen taking those videos and putting them on LinkedIn, they work really well. They've got a different feel to them, and they stick out well on the newsfeed, which is why you get the traction on them. So
yeah, when you can use the trends, like the TikTok trends, and like just take the like idea of the trend and then just like fit in the like link the to recruiting or to construction, you know, and then it's like half the work's already done for you. Like everyone already thinks this is funny and likes this trend, and so you could just like, you know, make it about LinkedIn somehow, and it's like boom, you got a great piece of content, you know. But again, maybe it takes different people to connect those dots, but for me it's easy.
I love it, man. I love it. I love how authentic and real you are as well. And well, I love it, man. Anything else that you wanna leave the audience with? Anything else that you think would be valuable at all?
No, just
Putting you on the spot here.
Just yeah, appreciate you having me on. If you've seen this on LinkedIn and you're already my connection or follower, like obviously we need candidates and clients. If you need anyone, you know who to reach out to.
Definitely. Yeah. Anyone who's out there, follow Chris. Looks like Julie as well at your company. What's Julie's last name?
Julie Lucero.
Julie Lucero. So go follow Julie as well at Build Recruitment. Yeah, and awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna go follow her now. And we've got a couple of comments. Hassan was just asking for Julie's full name. Adam said, smart, great about video content, 100%. And then Julie just said, nice podcast. So Julie, there you are. Look, Hassan, this is Julie.
Julie, best construction recruiter in the city, easily.
There you go. Huge shout out there. And I love it, man. Well, I appreciate all your time. I'm gonna drop some links to your page as well, and we'll try and get that TikTok page as well. And yeah, man, appreciate all of your time, the insights. And again, if you're out there, definitely go follow Chris, follow his team, see what they're doing. They are doing amazing things on LinkedIn. Peter said, thanks, guys. Really insightful and inspiring. Great to see you, Peter. And then Julie said hi again. So Julie, good to see you. Guys, check out next week. We're going to have another guest, and I know we're going to be having some exciting updates with the show as well. We're going to be getting a new sponsor, which I'm super excited to drop. But this week was brought to you by Huxo Media as well. So check out what we're doing, training recruitment teams on how to use LinkedIn effectively. So Chris, again, man, appreciate it. I love the insights here, and hopefully we'll talk again soon, man. So I appreciate you. I'm going to end this broadcast.
Appreciate it.